Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night. Hello, Champagne Dreamers. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I don't know how you found me, but I hope you'll hit that subscribe button and stick around. My name is Jaye Champagne, and I am North Dakota's trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. And for today's video, we're doing a thought experiment in terror. We are doing a sort of imaginary declutter, but the most brutal declutter you can imagine. I saw a video where someone was saying if they could only keep 10 palettes in their collection, what would they keep? And for me, for somebody who owns, I haven't counted in a while, but I would say it's easily over 200 palettes. Is it maybe over 300 palettes? I don't know. I have a lot of palettes. So getting down to 10, it's going to be a struggle, but I was like, you know what? Let's be brave in the new year. Let's try it out. So here we are. We're going to figure out what 10 palettes would I keep if I could only keep 10 out of my collection. So if you're interested in that, then stick around because we're getting into it right now. Strap in, people. The imaginary declutter is about to get savage. Yes, I saw this video on YouTube. I didn't even watch the video. If I can be honest, I didn't watch the video because my initial reaction was a little bit of terror of like, who's taking away my makeup? What's happening? I think it was Queer Bones. If it was, or even if they did a video like this, I'll link it here. And if not, I'll just edit this shit out. But I was like, you know what? That could be really interesting to say, let's do away with all of this makeup. You've got so much here. And I'm a collector. I'm a hobbyist. It's my happy place. I love it. I love to play. But if I was going to scale down, if I really needed to scale down, what are the things that I need in my collection? Now, obviously, makeup is not a need. Nobody needs it. But for what I do, the kind of work that I do, my little side hustle as the hooker clown that you see before you on YouTube, doing drag shows, hosting events, things like that, what would I need to be able to still keep that up with only 10 palettes? So that's where I started. And then I was able to really kind of think through of like, oh, what would I do? Because if I were just to go to my collection and start rooting through, I am so emotionally attached to so many palettes where I'm just like, oh, I bought that when I was here, or remember that launch and it was so fun and all this kind of shit. I was like, no, let's get out of the emotions. Let's get out of the attachments. And instead, let's go and say, what do I need to be able to achieve? And then let's pick the 10 palettes that do that. So that's what we're going to do. I am going to let you know what I need to do for my drag face situation. And then we'll start bringing in some palettes that do that. So the first thing I need to be able to do is, before I even start mixing colors or doing anything, I was thinking I really need to be able to do like a basic drag look, some sort of basic drag look with a couple of mattes, maybe a couple of shimmers in every color of at least the pride colors, right? So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, turquoise, pink. And then I need a matte white and a matte black. I was like, I absolutely have to have that. And then I thought, you know what? I don't often do neutrals. This is a little bit more of a neutral spin that I did in a recent collab video. If you haven't seen that yet, you can check it out right here. But I like to play with neutrals from time to time, right? Like, I like to mix it up. And even if I'm not doing a neutral look, sometimes having kind of a skin tone shade or a dark brown to blend something out instead of a dark color in that color family, so blue or red or green, sometimes that just gives it a little different twist and can make your look a little bit different, a little bit unique. So I definitely need those things. Be able to create even just like a simple basic kind of look in any of those main kind of pride colors. The second thing I thought of is I really need good mattes. As much as I love a beautiful shimmer, and shimmers really are what make a look come alive. It's really what gives you your flashbang. The secret to a lot of really good makeup is setting it up with really beautiful, easy to blend, gorgeous mattes. And then the shimmer just comes in. It's kind of like me on stage. There's this term of park and bark. And that's what I am, is when I was in Hairspray.
Oh God, she's not talking about when she was in Hairspray again, is she?
You're timeless to me.
There were all these little like 20-year-old kids who were like way younger than me who had been taking dance classes since they popped out of the womb. All you do is set me on stage and you have them dance and twirl and do their thing around me, and I just bark out my song. And at the end, everybody's like, oh my God, you were amazing. And I say, thank you. In that situation, I am the shimmer, but all I had to do was show up, and all of those little kids dancing around me, they were the ones doing that heavy lifting. So I definitely need some beautiful, like easy to work with blendable mattes in a range of colors and in a range of light to dark. Not too dark, not too medium, not too light. I need a good range. So as we're building out the collection, it's got to reflect that. And then of course, once we've got those matte shades, we do need some gorgeous, impactful shimmers, because that really is what comes in and it does the show. It's not doing the heavy lifting, but that's really the thing that people see. And it's the first thing they see for most of them. Maybe if they're a makeup enthusiast, they might take it in and check out the mattes and everything. But a shimmer, especially for me as a drag performer, I need those beautiful shimmers. And then, of course, my favorite colors. So I need kind of a basic drag look in all the kind of basic range of rainbow colors. But we know I love greens, so I absolutely need to have some beautiful greens. Besides green, I love pink looks. I love purple looks, and I love blue looks. I am a very cool-toned bitch. I love those cool-toned blues and purples, and especially those more blue-toned bubblegum pinks. I love it. So those are the kind of colors that I want to make sure I have a really good representation of. So that's what I'm looking for, and I actually was able to come up with 10 palettes. So first, let's hop into having those mattes to set up a look, because I think I'm going to have pretty much everything I need for the basics with 2 palettes. The Blends palette from Blend Bunny and the Orgy palette from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I know. The video about Jeffree Star Cosmetics is coming, and I know people feel all kinds of ways, but we are going through my collection and bringing it down to only 10. What I love about this is it's a big old palette. It is all matte shades, and it gives you so many neutrals, from the very lightest kind of bone color, not really a true white, but just the very lightest bone kind of off-white, all the way here to this really, really deep shade up here. This really does have every neutral I'm gonna need. I'm not a neutral girly. I don't do a lot of neutral looks. So if I can't do it with the neutrals in here, I probably don't need to do it. Somebody else that does more neutrals might need something else, but not this bitch. And I have raved about this in so many videos that I really think that this is the best rainbow palette that I own. This is one of the best drag palettes out there. I think that as you're getting into drag makeup, if you're getting into colorful makeup, if you're just wanting to play more with your makeup, I think that this is such a great option, because you get these trios of light, medium, and dark in all of these different shades. Plus you get these 3 different brown shades. So in case one of these shades isn't in the Orgy palette, I've got it here. And I've got a matte white, a matte black, and kind of a medium gray in between them. With these shades, I can mix pretty much any kind of color that I need. I can darken it a little bit, I can lighten it a little bit. So this really is going to set me up, and these are so beautiful. If you missed my Blend Bunny Thunderdome ranking, then check it out here. This one didn't win, but it's definitely a winner when it comes to rainbow palettes. So I love this. This one in the Orgy palette, between those 2 palettes, they are all matte, so we don't have any shimmers yet, but we're gonna take care of that. But these are absolutely what I need as the most essential building blocks in putting together this 10 palette collection. When it comes to palette number 3, listen, Linda, listen to me, Linda. Listen, Linda. It's the P. Louise AM to PM palette. I know, this is a huge palette, but again, for somebody with a huge collection having to go to 10, baby steps, right? And this one I think is really gonna add something to my collection. So I've already got the Blends palette giving me those light, medium, dark collections of all the kind of rainbow colors. This is going to help me expand on that. There's beautiful mattes in here that are going to help me expand on those colors, and then I can twist it a little bit with maybe, instead of just doing the greens, bring in a little turquoise or something like that, and then go into a blue, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. And also there are some colorful shimmers, so we're starting to get at least one colorful shimmer in each of the main color families. So then that way, if nothing else, I can do the mattes and then put down a shimmer on the lid, and I've got a basic drag look. So I know this is big, and I know P. Louise is also sometimes controversial. We got to put our feelings aside. We are putting together my doomsday makeup kit, so I need this big bitch. And this is not the last big palette you're gonna see on this list, so get ready. All right, the fourth palette that I would bring with me is another banger from Blend Bunny, the Sickly Sweet palette. I tend to over-dramatize my eyes. Who, me? And sometimes things just end up darker than I want. So having these pastels and having a range of pastels is really gonna help me round out some looks. So I love that this has some really beautiful pastel confetti mattes. So many beautiful mattes, and we get a couple that are a little bit more medium toned, and then we have these deep shades, because what we haven't had so far, we've got a matte black in the blends palette, but we don't really have dark colorful shades. So this helps by giving me some additional dark options to blend things out without just using a black. So I love this, and I love having these light pastel colors to, again, just bring a little bit of a smoother blend, a little bit more of an ombre, a little bit more dimension to the look. I love it. So this, I absolutely had to have this. And these beautiful shimmers are absolutely something that I would use. In fact, when I think of like my favorite eye looks, some of my favorite eye looks that I've ever done are like this sort of a green with a hot like Barbie pink and a bright purple. Those three together are some of my favorite looks. So I absolutely love the shimmers that are in here. They're gonna bring an extra little punch into my collection. Now, one of the colors that I said that I love is pink. And who knows pink better than, come on Bobby, let's go party, the Glamlight Barbie palette. This is absolutely making the cut. I think that this was the best Barbie collab that I have ever seen. And I think it's one of the best collab palettes that Glamlight has done. I think it's really, really good. And what this palette brings to my collection is some more of these pink and purple shades. There's a little bit of kind of teal blue in here. And so that gives me some kind of blues. There are a couple blues, but then these like twisted, starting to go a little bit more turquoise and teal. We've got a couple mustards to mix it up. I really love the shades that are in here. I think this is a really beautiful collection of wonderful shades that I would use. I have used this, I love it. And they just blend so beautifully. Glamlight shimmers. Oh, I wish everybody made shimmers that were as easy to blend and mix as Glamlight does. It's so good. Now, Barbie gave me a few purples, but not nearly enough. I love green eyeshadow, but I would say right after green eyeshadow, I probably do purple the most after green. I really love purple eyeshadow, and I love purple and green together. I don't care. I know that comic books have ruined it for us a little bit. It's always the Joker. It's always Lex Luthor. Every villain in Mortal Kombat is like green and purple. It's a thing, but I love green and purple together. And so for purple, I absolutely have to have the Flight Club palette from Menagerie Cosmetics. This is such a beautiful, beautiful purple palette. And I love it because it's really not doing much of anything else except for purple. There's a couple of these more maybe mauve-y infused kind of neutrals, but everything else is beautiful purple, and there are really beautiful shifty shimmer shades. And I know that sometimes in the pan these look very similar, but once you see them on the eye and you see the shifts, they are so gorgeous, and these are just such a stunning formula. I have kind of taken a little bit of a break from Menagerie. There hasn't been anything that's really, really just captured my attention. But then when I was doing this list and I remembered how good this is, do I need to go back and do another order from Menagerie Cosmetics? Do I need to catch up with them and see what they're doing? This is beautiful. This is gorgeous. Gorgina.
I want to be daring, baby, dance the night away. I let my hair down if I want. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time? Doesn't sound like fun.
Are you ready for some more controversy? All aboard! Sorry, wrong controversial YouTuber. I meant to say, Kim Kardashian? That's right, I am keeping the Michaela X P. Louise to have and to hold in case you get cold, even though we got married in July palette. So again, I love a big palette. I love all the options that this gives me. But this is going to cover what I need for beautiful blues. And there are some purples, and I love that the purples are very blue leaning. And there's even a few, not very many. I wish there were more. There are some neutral shimmers. So that neutral palette that I had before, this gives me more neutrals, but it also gives me at least a few options for neutral shimmers. So I am loving this palette. I've been playing around with this. Again, I already linked my collab video where I created this look that I have on now. This was done using the P. Louise and Michaela palette. So I love this, and it's a big palette, lots of options. This is definitely making the cut for the 10. I'm sorry, all of you Lashgate survivors that just can't move on. I'm sorry. I will throw a quarter into a jar to contribute to your therapy. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry she put on lashes and didn't tell you. So we just have to get over it, because if I'm down to 10, this is one of them. Palette number 8 is where I did allow myself a little bit of, not really nostalgia, because it's not old, but just like a little bit of sentimental attachment. It does bring something to my collection, but I really just did it because I love this collab. And that's the Hella palette from Odin's Eye and Angelica Nyqvist. I really love this palette. I love the artwork. I mean, it was all I could do to not give her Halloween palettes their own spots, but I was like, I can't justify it for what they bring. This one I think I can justify because it gives me some additional greens. We can always take more greens. And so there are some beautiful swampy yellowy greens, and there are some pinks. So Barbie gave us some beautiful pinks, but I think these are going to be unique even to what's in the Barbie palette. So this gives us a little bit more options for that. And these kind of purpley darkening shades are really gorgeous. I really do love those. This is a lovely shade. I mean, nothing in here is not an absolute winner. And I love Angelica. I love her channel. I love her Singe Beauty brand. So I am just such a fan, and so this had to make its way in. Partially, I can justify the shades, but if we're being honest, this is the one where I was like, I get to keep one that's sentimental to me. I have a little tiny shriveled up heart. Let me just enjoy it, please. All right, I've been promising you green. I've been talking about how much I love green. The last two palettes are dedicated to my love of green. So I've got two palettes that, along with the little sprinkling of green that I've already gotten from the other palettes, these I think are really going to round out and give me a fabulous green collection where I can create a variety of looks, create different kinds of green looks, and still have fun with it even with a limited collection. The first one, no surprise to anybody who's watched my channel for a long time, but again, we're getting controversial at the gig. Jeffree Star's Blood Money palette. I'm sorry. I know. But this to me is the ideal green palette. I have tried so many green palettes. I would venture to say I have tried all of the green palettes, and I have never found a green palette where the color selection, the quality of the shadows, the vibrancy of the shadows is as good and as tailored to me as Blood Money. So many greens that we're getting lately are just swampy, acid, yellow-green, chartreuse kind of greens. That's all we're getting lately. And this one maybe tiptoes a little bit in that direction, but we get this beautiful bright lime, and then like this apple green, this shimmer. Shut the front door. This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. These mattes are so stunning. So we do have some of these more olivey, swampy kind of colors, but they're very different from like the ones in the Hella palette for the most part. These are going to pair well with those, but they're different. There's this green golden olive shimmer. There's this one, which is kind of a duochrome-y, shifty, maybe a brown with a bit of green. I just love this palette. It's like I designed a green palette in my mind, and this is what came out. 10 out of 10, no notes. I know we're mad about it, but again, I have to have this. It's got to be in my collection. This is my favorite green palette ever. And I know that it looks somewhat new, but that's because I have gotten another one of these in a couple of mystery boxes. I don't really buy the mystery boxes anymore, but when I did, I think I got 1 or 2 replacements. And I actually held on to it for a long time and used the other one and kept this one pristine. And I finally decluttered it and have used this maybe once or twice since then. But I love this green palette. And the final palette, to give me some more greens, there are some beautiful shimmers in there, but I've got a whole lot of green mattes, and I can always use more green shimmers. So we're going to take another trip to Sweden for a different indie brand, Gloss Gods, and their palette, Dancing in the Sky. And this is a whole entire palette of just gorgeous green and green infused, green shifting shimmers. So beautiful. So gorgeous. So anything that I don't have in the other ones, I love that the other ones are mostly just straight up shimmers. That apple green is like an apple green. It's a gorgeous shimmer, but it's just that color. These then give me some shifts where maybe things will go a little bit blue or a little bit gold or a little bit purple and green together like these here, and with some pink in some of them. I love this. So this I thought will really round out my greens. Again, that shimmer, I can have the same green mattes to create that base and then slap on a different shimmer and it is a different eye look. So I should do a video sometime where I do like the same matte kind of outline and do different shimmers just to show how much you can really change a look just with one shimmer. I love these. This is my 10th palette. So that is the video. So thank you to Queer Bones or whoever created this tag. I don't know that they created it, but I think they were the one that I saw their video. And I found this easier than I thought I would. Once I got away from looking at my collection and trying to like pick and choose, it's kind of like having a big old bucket of kittens. Like, how do you pick the kitten? Like, they're all so cute and you just take them all. But once I got away from that and just sat and thought about what do I need in my collection? What do I need my eye looks to do? What do I need to be able to do on the road for a show? All of that kind of stuff, it became much easier. I was actually surprised that I was able to come up with this list fairly quickly. Now, if my benevolent overlord that's making me declutter would allow me an 11th, a 12th, a 13th, the 14th, the 15th, if I could keep a few extra, I've definitely got some backups. The Halloween palettes, Spooked by Gourmand Girls, that almost came in place of the Angelica one, but that's where the sentimentality, I was like, I feel like I have enough of the colors from Spooked in other things or similar things in other things that I felt like the Hella palette was just a little bit maybe more unique. And that one paired so well with Blood Money, with those swampy greens. But that one easily could have made it. Also from Gourmand Girls, Haunted and Nightshade. Those are beautiful palettes that I love with greens and purples. It was so hard. So if I were able to keep 15, 20, I could easily fill those ranks and build out even this basic collection. But it's nice to know that, you know, hopefully nothing happens, but if this office were to burn down or something happened, I know that with like 10 palettes, I could get back to creating this hooker clown face pretty easily and pretty quickly. So that is the video. Let me know down below what you think of my choices. Did I make good choices? Are these the right 10 palettes? Are these the right ones for me? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you would keep if you had to go down to 10. Maybe you're a minimalist and you're like, bitch, I only got 3 palettes. Let me know the error of my capitalistic ways down in the comment section below. While you're down there, don't forget to give me that thumbs up. Let me know that you appreciate this video. Let me know that you had a good time, that you enjoyed it. Or if you are like, I'm so tired of you flogging that Jeffree Star bullshit and P. Louise, controversial at the gig every time, go ahead and give me that thumbs down. Show your disapproval. It's all engagement. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither am I. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads. I work really hard to try to have 1 video a week, and sometimes, if you're very lucky, you might even get a bonus video. Ooh, savage. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website, The World of Champagne, at JanessaJ.com. Thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you for coming along on this wild ride. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed looking at some of these palettes. I, for one, am glad that it gave me an excuse to pull out some Menagerie cosmetics. We need to play with them more. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a great time, and until I see you again, bye. Oh my god, I can't open this. I'm being outsmarted by a magnet. Blend a bunny. Put your bunny in a blender.
That's not nice. That's not cool at all.
Don't do that. That's mean to your
Don't
bunny.
do that to your bunny.
Don't do it to your bunny. Come on, Bobby. Let's go. Oh, God. Jesus, this thing is heavy. Pretty girl. Gloss gods. It got weird at the gloss gods. And I hope you had a good time, and so did I. What?